Hello students, welcome back to the online sessions. For 10th standard we are studying, as you all know, we are studying probability chapter 15.1. Okay, this is the fourth video lecture that we are going to study, and already in the 15.1 we have covered till question number 15, right? So we will carry forward the next sum, and most probably in this video lecture we'll try to finish the chapter. Okay, if not, if one or two will be left, we'll take it in another video. Okay, so question number 15, everything is done. Let's solve question number 16. Question number 16 of exercise number 15.1. Okay, question number 16. Now what does it tell you? 12 defective pens are accidentally mixed with 132 good ones. Now take a box, consider a box. In box, 12 what is that? Defective pens. Okay, defective pens are accidentally mixed with 132 good ones. Good ones means in a bag already 132 good pens are there, and in that bag 12 defective pens are mixed up, accidentally mixed up. It is not possible to just look at the pen and tell whether or not it is defective. Means all the pens are identical. When we write it, then and only then we can say that it is a defective pen or it is a non-defective pen. Means by looking you cannot judge whether the pen is defective or not. One pen is taken out at random from this lot. Now you are selecting how many pen? One pen you are selecting randomly without looking the color and all. Determine the probability that the pen taken out is a good one. Okay, it's quite simple. So first of all, if 12 defective pens are there and 132 good ones are there, so how many total pens are there? First of all, count it. So 132 plus 12, it will give you 144 total pen, right? But they are asking the probability of good one. Okay, let me take getting a good pen and taking it as an event A, and I have to find out probability of A, P of A. So getting a good one. Now count how many good ones are there. 132. We know that R by N. R is whatever amount of good pen is there. How many good pens are there? 132. So 132 upon N. N is total. How many total pens are there? 144. Right? Cancel it. 2 6s are 2 6s are, and 2 7s are, and 2 2s are. Again 2 3s are 3s are, and 2 3s are, and 2 6s are, right? Okay, so probably a 33 by 36 is your answer. Again it will be cancelled, yes, with the 3 1s are, and 3 12s are. So final answer is going to be 11 by 12. 11 by 12. If they would have asked that probability of getting defective one, so answer would have been 12 upon 144. 12, how many good pens are there? 12, and total is 144. So this is your question number 16. It is quite easy, right? Let me solve the question number 17 also. Question number 17 here. Now what question number 17 tells you? Same kind of sum is there. A lot of 20 bulbs. A lot of 20 bulbs means 20 bulbs are already there. A lot of 20 bulbs means 20 bulbs are already there. A lot of 20 bulbs contain 4 defective ones. Okay. Out of the 20 bulbs, 4 are defective. 4 bulbs are defective. So but obvious if 4 bulbs are defective, I can say that 16 are good one. From a lot of 20 bulbs, if 4 are defective, so but obvious 16 are good ones. So a lot of 20 bulbs contain 4 defective ones. One bulb is drawn at random from the lot. What is the probability that the bulb is defective? So let us take the event A. To get a defective bulb. So probability is equal to R upon N. Now count how many defective bulbs are there? 16. And how many total bulbs are there? 20. So answer is 16 upon 20. 4 4s are and 4 5s are. 4 upon 5 is going to be your answer. I hope it is clear. See what is the process in every sum. whatever the probability that you have to find out, just name it as an event. Then apply P of F, P of A, that is probability of event. Whenever you are writing probability, the formula is R upon N. R is how many amount is there, how much amount is there of that thing which is asked. Like here, to get a defective bulb, so count how many defective bulbs are there. So defective bulbs are 16. N is total, irrespective of your question. N is going to be same. What is N here? N is total, total is 20 bulbs. So same thing, I think you have not got any sum other than this logic. Each and every sum is applying this logic only. Okay, so second, this is the first part of 17 question. There is another question, second part. What is there? Suppose the bulb is drawn. Suppose the bulb is drawn and is not defective and is not replaced. Okay, now one bulb is drawn at random from the rest. What is the probability that this bulb is not defective? Now before reading this question, let me teach you the meaning of replacement and not replacement. Now suppose a lot is there, suppose the lot of bulb is there, it is containing 20 bulbs. It is containing 20 bulbs. One bulb you got, and you got that whether it is defective or non-defective. Suppose it is non-defective, right? You got that it is non-defective, and again if you are putting that bulb into that lot only, you have from 20 bulbs, you are taking out one bulb, you are observing whether it is defective or non-defective. Suppose you got a defective bulb. Suppose you got a defective bulb. But if you are putting that defective bulb into the lot only, that is called as replacement. Replacement means you have taken out, you have seen whether it is defective or not, again you have kept it in the same lot. That is called as replacement. If I am taking one bulb, I am seeing, I am observing whether it is defective or not defective, and I am keeping it out of that lot. So that is called as without replacement. Without replacement. Now the bulb, after when I kept this bulb outside that lot, now the lot will contain only 19 bulb. Why? Because that bulb which I kept out, I have not replaced it. I have kept it aside. Are you getting my point? So replacement, whenever any replacement is done, the quantity will reduce. Initially 20 was there. If I am taken one bulb and I am putting it outside, that I have not replaced that bulb, meaning that your one bulb is going to reduce from that lot if you have not replaced the previous bulb. I hope it is clear, right? So the same kind of question is there. Suppose the bulb drawn and is non-defective and it is not replaced. So from 20 you are picking one bulb. Okay, you are picking one bulb and you got to know that it is it is not defective. Okay, so the bulb is not defective and it is not replaced, So how many bulb after that, after this incident, how many bulb is there with you? Only 19 bulbs. Only 19 bulbs. Why only 19 bulbs? Because the bulb that you took out one, you have not replaced it. So only 19 bulb will be there. And out of 19, how many good one and how many defective one will be there? See, defective one will be 4, but defective one will be 4, but that will be your 15. Good one will be 15. Why? Because one good one you did not replace it. One good one is kept out. So initially it was 16 good one, but because you kept one good one outside, you have not replaced it. So now the good one will remain only 15 and total will be 19 bulbs. Once you have not replaced that bulb that you have kept it out. So again, suppose the bulb drawn is not defective and it is not replaced. Not defective and not replaced. So meaning that one bulb will reduce, and which bulb? That is the good one. Initially it was 16, now it will become 15. Then what is the probability that this bulb is not defective? Okay, now getting non-defective bulb. Getting non-defective bulb. So P of B, probability of B is equal to R by N. Now how many non-defective are there? After this incident took place, how many good ones are there? 15. So 15 upon, what is the total? 19. So 15 upon 19 is your answer of getting a non-defective bulb once you have replaced one non-defective bulb. I hope it is clear, right? So question number 16 and 17 is done. Let us move towards question number 18. Now what does question number 18 tell you? A box contains 90 discs which are numbered from 1 to 90. So let me take a box and it is containing 90 such discs. 19 discs are there, 90, and all are numbered from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Such 90 discs are there which are numbered from 1 to 90, right? 1 to 90. Yani first, suppose the first disc is there, number 1. Next disc, number 2. All 90 discs are marked with 1 to 90 number. A box contains 19 discs which are numbered from 1 to 90. If one disc is drawn at random from the box, now you're taking one disc from the box, find the probability that it bears a 2-digit number. Okay, let me take it at event getting a 2-digit number. Okay, I'm getting a 2-digit number. First one. Second one is what? Perfect square number. Let me take it, getting a perfect square number, and number divisible by 5. Third one, number getting number divisible by 5. Now 3 questions they have asked. First of all, total discs, how many total discs are there? 90. So n is going to be 90 irrespective of your question. For every question your n is going to be same. Now getting a 2-digit number. Getting a 2-digit number means what? You don't want 1-digit number. So you have to remove number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 digits you have to remove. So how many are there? How many 2-digit numbers are there? 81. 81 are there. So probability of A is equal to R upon N, and R is 81 upon 90. 81 upon 90. There are 81 2-digits numbers are there. So 9 nines are 81 and 9 tens are 90. 9 upon 10 is your answer. 9 upon 10 is your answer. I hope it is pretty much clear. Getting a perfect square. The numbers which are perfect square. Now what are the perfect square? 1. 4. 4 is a perfect square number. Perfect square number are those number where you can find its root easily. Right? 1, square root of 1 is 1. 4, 9, 16, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81. That's it. Only 9 numbers are there. Because if I'll go next number, it is 100. And 100 discs are not there. So how many perfect square numbers are there? 9. 9. So probability of B is going to be R upon N, 9 upon 90. 9 upon 90, that is 1 upon 10. 1 upon 10 is your answer. Okay. Okay. Now, next and last question, getting number divisible by 5. Getting number divisible by 5. So simple. Read the table of 5 nearest to 90. So I think 18 5s are 90. 18 5s are 90. So there will be 18 number like 5, 10, 15, right? 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. So basically total 18 numbers are there. 18 numbers are there out of that 90 digits. The number 80 digits are there which are multiple of 18 digits are there which are multiple of 5. So probability of C is equal to R upon N. R is 18 number upon 90 because total is 90. So 18 5s are 90. So answer is 1 by 5. 1 by 5. This is how you have to represent your answer. I hope it is clear, right? Let us move towards question number 19. What does it tell you? A child has a die whose six faces shown, the letters are given below. Now the letters are A, B, C and what? ABC, then D, D, E, and A. Normally the dice you have, it has 6 faces. Cubical dice are there. It has 6 faces, and a normal dice contains what? Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But a child is having a very specific dice which is not included numbers, but it is comprising of alphabets. Which alphabets? A, one face is having A number, A alphabet, other is having B, C, D, E, and A. Means there are 2 faces in his dice which is having a number, which is having alphabet A. Then B, C, D. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces of his dice contains alphabets. Okay. Now what is the question? The die is thrown once. Now it is thrown once. What is the probability of getting A? Okay. So first event, let me name it as A. So getting A. Getting A alphabets. What is the probability of it? So P of A. How many times A is there? How many times A is there? 1 time and 1 time. So total 2 times A is there. So R upon N, 2, and how many total numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 upon 6, answer is going to be 1 upon 3. So getting A, what is the probability? 1 by 3. And getting D. So let me take it as even B. Getting D. So probability of B is again R by N. How many times D is there? D is only, it is there for 1 time. So 1 upon N is going to be 6 only. 1 upon 6. That is the answer of B. So I hope you have understood question number 19. Let's move towards a very important question number 20. Okay students, so question number 20 is very unusual and a very important sum you can have. Now what does it tell you? Suppose you drop a die at random on the rectangular region shown in the figure. 15.6, one figure is there. What is the probability that it will land inside the circle with diameter 1 meter? Now a rectangular field is there. See, rectangular field is there, and inside one circle is there. Inside a circle is there, and the diameter of this circle is given as 1 meter. Diameter of the circle is given as 1 meter. Okay, and this width, it is already mentioned as 2 meter, and this length is already mentioned in the textbook, it is of 3 meter. This is the diagram given in your question, and what it is asking, suppose you drop a die. Now suppose this diagram is there on some desk or some floor, you can say that. This rectangular region is there, and inside a circle is there. Now you are about to throw a dice. You are about to throw a dice. What is the probability of that dice to land at this region? Now, when you throw a dice, it can land anywhere, like here, anywhere it can land, right? But I want to find the probability of that dice to land at this circular region. Now, can you say that the circular region is the smaller part of the big rectangular region? This circular region is having a smaller part of this entire rectangular region. So this, I want my dice to land at this region, right? So this is what? It is an area. It is an area, right? So the happening event, that to be probability. So let me take it as event A. Landing the die on circular region, right? So if you consider this is a small part of this rectangular part, and I want this area, I want my dice to land on this area, right? So this smaller area is going to be your desired part, but it can land anywhere. It can land anywhere on this rectangular surface, right? So you know that probability of any event is going to be R upon N. Now you want the dice to be land at this area, right? So R will be area of circle. area of circle, because that is your desired part. And if I talk about total, what is the total? It can land anywhere on the area of this rectangular region. So total is going to be area of rectangle, right? So if any this kind of figure is coming in the examination, just you check, they will give you certain desired part. It will have some shape, like this shape is circle. It can be square also. It can be anything, but because here circle is there and I want this desired part as my answer, as my landing area, so this is my going to be happening image, that is R, possible outcomes. But total it can come anywhere on this region, that is rectangular region. So area of circle upon area of rectangle. Now you know that area of circle, area of circle is equal to pi r square, right? Now diameter of the circle is given. Diameter is given as 1 meter. So radius is going to be 1 by 2 meter, right? Diameter is equal, radius is equal to diameter divided by 2. So diameter is 1. So divide by 2 will get radius. Why radius? Because area of the circle is pi r square. So I'll keep pi as 22 by 7 and r is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 into 1 by 2, 2 times, because square is there. So 2 11s are. So 11 by 14 meter square is going to be area of circle. Similarly, area of rectangle is nothing but length into breadth. Now what is the length? Length is 3 meter. What is the breadth of rectangle? 2 meter. So 6 meter square. 6 meter square is going to be area of rectangle. Now put both the value in this formula. Area of circle is 11 by 14 into 6. Right? That's it. I think we don't have to do any further calculation. So 11 upon 84. 11 upon 84, there is no unit of probability. Don't write meter square here, because this is also meter square, this is also meter square. Both meter square will be cancelled, right? So 11 upon 84 is the answer of the probability of landing your dice in this circular region if this circle is there inside a rectangular region, right? Now related to this, one example is also there. That is example number 11. Example number 11. A missing helicopter is reported to have crashed somewhere in the rectangular region. What is the probability that it crashed inside the lake shown in the figure? Now if you look at the figure, the lake is having the shape of square, and entire region where helicopter may crash, it is a rectangular region. So your answer is area of square upon area of rectangle. Just all the dimensions are given. Find out area of square and area of rectangle and put it in the answer formula. You'll get the answer. Similarly, this 11th one, example number 11. So here I can say that example number 11 is similar, right? So you should note it down. Okay, so let us move forward and let us solve question number 21. So I hope students you have understood question number 20. Now let us move towards question number 21. A lot consists of 144 ball pens, of which 20 are defective. Okay. Total 144 ball pens are there. Total 144 ball pens are there. Out of that 144 ball pens, 20 are defective. 20 are defective. So but obvious 122 is going to be non-defective. So there are 144 balls. Out of 144 balls, 20 are defective. So but obvious 122 will be non-defective. Now Nuri will buy a pen if it is good. Okay. Nuri will buy a pen if it is good. Nuri will buy a pen if it is good, but will not buy if it is defective. And Nuri will not buy a pen if it is defective. right? This is the data that is given in your question. The shopkeeper draw one pen at random and gives to her. Now shopkeeper, he doesn't see good pen or bad pen. Randomly he give one pen to Noori. What is the probability that she will buy it? First, A, she will buy it, and second, I'm taking as B, she won't buy it. She won't buy it. Okay, so probability of A is equal to R by N here, and probability of B is again R by N here. Now you tell me when she is going to buy. So she is going to buy if it is good. If it is good. Now how many good pens are there? Good means non-defective. How many non-defective pens are there? 122. So if she is selecting out of 122, then and only then she is going to buy. Because here in the question it is being told to you that Noori will buy a pen only if it is good. So how many good pens are there? 122. So answer will be 122 upon 144. You can cancel it. 2 6s are 2 1s are, 2 7s are 2 2s are. So 61 upon 72 is going to be your answer. She won't buy it. So when she is not going to buy it? When she is not going to buy it? When it is defective. Now how many defective are there? 20. So 20 upon 144. 2 10s are, 2 7s are, 2s are, 2 5s are, 2 3s are, 2 6s are. 5 upon 36. 5 upon 36, that is the answer when she is not going to buy it, when she is not going to buy it. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Again, quite easy sum. Now let us move towards question number 22. Students, we have solved 21st question. It was quite easy. Now before moving towards question number 22, we'll start question number 23 first, because in question number 22 they have mentioned example number 13. So to solve question number 22, we have to see example 13. So we'll keep it at last. Let's solve question number 23. It tells you that a game consists of tossing a 1 rupee coin 3 times. Now, if you toss 1 rupee coin 3 times, you can toss it for 2 times as well, 1 times as well, and 3 times. So when you toss a coin 1 times, your sample space is going to be only head comma tail. If you toss 1 time, either you get head or you get tail. If you toss 2 times, either you get head, means in both cases you'll get head. First head, second tail, first tail, second head, or both tail. Right? Right? HH, HT, TH, TT. If you toss the coin 2 times. And whenever you toss the coin 3 times, see, the answer is going to be HHH, HHT, HTH, HTT, THH, THT, TTH, and triple T. Now how to remember this? How to remember this? This is quite simple. Means what is the logic behind it? So if you toss a coin 3 times, in all 3 you can get a head. In first, second you get head, in third you can get tail. First head, second tail, third head. This kind of such possibilities are there. So how many total possibility you can have? If you toss a coin 3 times, you'll have 8 possibilities. Right? Now how to remember this? It is quite difficult, not difficult one, but let me give you a trick to remember this 8 cases. See, you have to remember for tossing a coin 2 times, sample space of 2 times. That is HH, HT, TH, TT. Right? So repeat it HH, HT, TH, TT. Again repeat it HH, HT, TH, TT. HH, HT, TH, TT. Again repeat HH, HT, TH, TT. 4 times H, 4 times H, and 4 times T. That is the total sample space of tossing a coin 3 times. Are you getting my point? Let me repeat once. HH, HT, TH, TT. That is the sample space for tossing a coin 2 times. And you have to repeat this thing 2 times. Then 4 times H and 4 times T. That will be the sample space of tossing a coin 3 times. Okay. So in this question, that is question number 23, a game consists of tossing a 1 rupee coin 3 times. So immediately you have to write the sample space. So your sample space is going to be HHH, HHT, HTH, HTT, THH, THT, TTH, and triple T. That is the sample space. That is the sample space you will have. Then, now what is the next part of the question? Hanif wins if all the tosses give the same result. Hanif wins. Now, Hanif wins if all tosses gives same result. Give same result. Okay. Then, and that is 3 head or 3 tail, and loses otherwise. What? Calculate the probability that Hanif will lose the game. Okay. Now, calculate the probability that Hanif will lose the game. Let me take it as event A. Hanif loses the game. Loses the game. Spelling right here? Huh? Hanif loses the game. Now, when he is going to lose? When he will not get 3 identical things, like he is winning when Hanif is winning, when all the tosses give the same result. Give the same result means what? Triple H and triple T. When he will get triple H and triple T in all 3 tosses, then and only then he is going to win. Otherwise he is going to lose. So we have to find out the probability of losing. So when, apart from these two, if any other incident is happening, he is going to lose the game. So what is the answer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In this sixth possibility, he is going to lose the game. So if I'll ask you the probability, it is R upon N. So R upon N, how many chances of losing is there? 6. And what is the total outcomes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 upon 8. So 2 3s are and 2 4s are. 3 upon 4. So probability of losing the game of Hanif is 3 by 4. What if the question is find the probability of winning the game for Hanif? So when he is going to win? When all the outcomes are identical, that is triple H or triple T. So there are total 2 outcomes. So 2 upon 8. 2 upon 8 means 1 by 4. 1 by 4 are the answer of the probability for winning the game for Hanif. Right? So few more questions are left. I think 22, 24 and 25. 3 questions are left. I'll take it into the last video. Right? We'll take it a pause for this video. So note it down. And we'll meet in the last video lecture, that is video lecture number 5. Till then, bye-bye and take care of yourself.